What do you do after 6 class wins at Le Mans? You walk away and build a new engine that shouldn't exist. Meet Dan Binks, Michigan-born, speed-obsessed. In the 80s, he tuned Mazda RX-7 and dominated IMSA. In the 90s, he helped Roush Mustang's own Trans Am and even won a NASCAR championship. Then he became the heartbeat of Corvette racing. Starting in 2002, Dan crew-chiefed the factory Corvettes for 2 decades. 115 wins, 11 Sebrings, 3 Daytonas, and 6 Le Mans trophies earned the hard way through data, all-nighters, and an almost unfair attention to detail.
Well, it's just like anything you make. Every time you do it, it's better, whether it's a bicycle, a skateboard, or a race car.
In May 2020, he retires to escape the corporate grind. Through Binks Motorsports, he unleashes the Crazy 3, an ultralight 3-cylinder midget engine aimed straight at the chaos of the chili bowl. On this episode of Dive Bar Pilot, how a road racing legend became dirt racing's most dangerous inventor.
Hey, my name is Jim, the Dive Bar Pilot. I fly around the country in my new Vision Jet, introducing you to some of the most interesting people in America. I'll show you their passion for life, what drives them, as we learn more about their incredible accomplishments. So climb on board with me as we travel around our great country, visiting interesting destinations. I'll give you the behind-the-scenes look at amazing events and the most fascinating people in America who make it all happen.
I'm Dan Binks.
Dan Binks, one of America's premier engine builders and innovators, and with an amazing history. So show me around your shop here, Danny. This car really put you on the map, didn't it?
Right. Yep, this car ran in Le Mans in 17, 18, 19. So.
And you were with the Pratt & Miller, the factory Corvette team for 20 years?
Yeah, 20 years.
And 6 Le Mans wins?
6 Le Mans wins, I think 11 Sebrings.
24 Hours Daytona?
I think we won 3.
Just 3 of those.
Yeah, I think 115 class wins.
You guys ruled this for many years.
Yep, and 20 years was a good run. So I tried retirement for a little while, and that I wasn't very good at that. I suck at golf, and so then I started my engine shop, and then that took off really well. And then my son was working at Chips, and it was just, a really big grind. And I said, well, what's your plan, or what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to do what you do, And
you are now building your own engines now, right? I want to talk about how this all came about, because that's really the story here in your new career, is that you took an LS motor, basically a Corvette GM well-developed motor, and you cut it in half.
Yeah.
Tell me that story.
Yeah, so it's actually one of those engines, one of the Le Mans engines. I bought all those parts, and for my first one was a 4-cylinder. I cut 2, 4, 6, and 8 off the one side.
Cylinders 2, 4, 6, and 8.
Yeah, cut the whole side off with a saw.
So in other words, you cut it right down the middle.
Actually on the one side of the cam. But anyways, cut those cylinders off and made
the cam's right down the midline.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I made a plate for the side, and the first Midget engine that I was able to complete, we took it to Anderson, Indiana, very first night, qualified on the pole.
Look, there's hundreds of manufacturers who have made 4-cylinder engines. Why did you decide to cut the LS motor in half?
Well,
because it was so well developed, the heads and the...
I didn't want to buy a Toyota for 60 grand. I didn't want to buy an SR11 for 60 grand or 50 grand. And I had a bunch of time, or some time. And that's when I built the first 4-cylinder. Then I started messing around with the cubic inches and compression ratio, and it's really hard to get compression ratio with a 4-cylinder. The volumes are really small. So when you can actually go to a 3-cylinder, the volume on each cylinder goes way up. So it's easier to get compression ratio.
So how did you get from a 4-cylinder to 3? You cut the LS motor in half, and you had a really hot 4-cylinder, but why did you then cut one more cylinder off to make it 3?
It was all about trying to get compression ratio to make power. So to give you an idea, every point of compression is about 4% power when you get up into the 12, 13, 14, 15 range.
And these are naturally aspirated.
Right, naturally aspirated, 165. This is 165 cubic inches, 9,000 RPM, and about 375 horsepower is about what they make to the flywheel. The 3-cylinder has an advantage to making more compression ratio than a 4-cylinder. There's also an advantage is it's cheaper, right? You only have 6 lifters instead of 8.
In an engine that you're rebuilding
Quite often.
every
But this thing only has to go 60 miles.
per event, multiple nights.
Multiple nights or whatever. So it doesn't need to run very long. You know, 10-second laps and you run 50 of them, it doesn't take very long. It can vibrate and still make it. So we just deal with the vibration.
Unlike GTLM and all the other things you've done for your entire career, there's no weight category here.
So for the chili bowl, there's no minimum weight.
This is the Chili Bowl car here.
Right
The
there.
Chili Bowl is like the Indy 500 for midgets, the Daytona 500 for midgets.
Exactly. I tell people that it's one of the hardest races to win in the world, and people don't understand that, right? I mean, I've raced all over the world, and 400 cars show up for this race, and there's basically not very many rules, and you have a 1 in 400 chance to win this thing. Even Kyle Larson said, no offense to Daytona, but this is the biggest freaking race I've ever won.
Wow. Well, because the competition is so incredible, and you mentioned Kyle Larson, the talent that's at these events is amazing. A lack of rules allowed you to be innovative. You couldn't even drill a hole in this thing without
Exactly.
getting the FIA.
Yeah.
And this, you can invent your own engine because there's almost no rules.
Yeah, the rule book for this thing looked like an old phone book, and the rule book for this thing is one sheet. You know, they could print it on an 8.5 by 11. And that's just what makes it fun. It's like the old days in Indy where people were making offies and they were using Ford Cosworths and they were, you know, using all kinds of weird
Turbine.
Yeah, exactly, all
Right.
kinds of weird stuff, and you could use your brain and just go crazy, right?
Now this looks like a billet aluminum block. This does not look like, this is not an LS block cut in half.
No.
So you've developed this further from your original concept where you cut an LS in half and now you're building your own blocks?
Right. Well, this was the pipe dream. I never really thought it would happen, but designed and built our own block, the oil pan billet block, billet cylinder head, and actually came together pretty fast. Next Monday, I'll be 24 weeks from the time I said I was going to do it. So unheard of time frames, and
And there's 2 in the world that exist?
there's 2 in the world. And
2.
and there you go. Yep.
It looks like it's half of a V6. Why do you have it sideways?
It's heavier on the left side to make it go around the dirt track.
The dirt tracks go
Everybody puts them in.
counterclockwise.
Everybody puts them in at 45 degrees. Basically a clean sheet of paper, so anything that we could dream up, we did.
Do you run velocity stacks on that? Or?
Yep,
Yeah.
we do. They're actually in the trailer. They just take them off because they get dinged up right now.
You know, I see a dry sump.
Yep, dry sump. So you can change the engine. You have to undo 2 fuel lines and the throttle linkage and the 7 bolts on the back, and the engine comes out. You can change it in about 15 minutes. And hopefully we don't do that because I don't have any more.
So are you planning to build these and sell them to customers?
No, not at the moment. I tell people, I let people use them if I like them. I do this kind of work to make money so I can have fun, right?
Maintaining these historic cars, which you know so well, this is how you currently make your living, so to speak. But this is, instead of buying a pontoon boat, this is your pontoon boat money, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. My son said, you know, between these 2, we could have a really cool pontoon boat. Number 1 cylinder has a suction on it. Number 2 has a suction on it. Number 3 has suction on it. And that pulls the vacuum down so the engine runs better. And it has a vacuum in the engine, so the piston doesn't have any force to go to actually change directions.
What's this engine weigh?
Around 200 pounds. It weighs less than that, but we don't want to publish that too much. I can carry it, but not very far. How about that?
You mind talking about the midget car here for a minute?
Yep. So in 2021, I bought 2 midgets from Clausen Marshall and went racing with my 3-cylinder and my 4-cylinder. I had 2 young guys driving. Cody Swanson drove one and Darren Knighted drove the other.
Okay.
Darren drove the 3-cylinder and really liked it. Won a couple of races on his night. We were going to transfer into our B, and he got upside down, and that was the end of the first chili bowl with the 3-cylinder.
3 years ago.
3 or 4 years.
But that wasn't your own. Because this motor, as we said, this is a brand new project. So this has actually never raced yet.
Correct.
Has it been on a dyno yet?
It has not. It's going to be on the dyno tomorrow.
We got the cops called on us in the middle of the night the other night because we were dynoing so late.
My wife thinks I'm crazy because I work on race cars every day, and then to relax, I work on race cars. So it's a sickness.
You've had a lot of wins, but which ones stick out in your mind?
Probably 2009 LeMans, because it looked like it was going to slip away, and it just worked out that we were able to get the fuel strategy and make it to the end and win it. And super proud moment to be on. I was fortunate enough to go up on the podium there.
That wasn't your first, was it?
We had several with the other car. It was one of those ones that just didn't come as easy as we thought. That, you know, some of those come easy, and the ones that drag on and you win at the very end is kind of cool.
And so in your very accomplished career, what sticks out as one of your biggest disappointments?
Well, obviously the biggest disappointment is Tommy getting hurt. You know, we crashed the Intrepid there at Watkins Glen.
And the car just comes around. One of the rear wheel spats comes.
The rear wheel came off.
Rear wheel came right off the car, and this is a hard hit. Oh.
And,
Tommy Kendall.
Yeah, Tommy Kendall. We raced together for 13 years.
This was in Trans Am.
No, it was actually in GTP and IMSA.
This was after Trans Am.
It was after Trans Am, and then we raced Trans Am after that again. But anyways, we were racing for General Motors with a car called the Intrepid, and the rear hub broke, and Tommy broke his legs really bad.
He is smiling on that stretcher.
And I actually thought about not racing anymore, and Tommy said, "We're going to keep racing. I want to keep racing. You know, just go home and build me a car." And they worked on him for 6 months. So that was the worst possible thing that could ever happen. You know.
But you and Tommy worked together for many years. The two of you put each other on the map back in the day, right?
Yeah, we were both very young, and we were fortunate enough to win a lot of races, be at the right race teams at the right time.
In 1995, Tommy Kendall raced the Trans Am Series, which was a 14-race series in that year, and won 12 of the races with this car. One car won 12 races of the 14 races in the schedule, and they were the first 12.
So that was pretty cool. People it's funny, the wins, you don't really remember that. The losses are the painful ones. You know, if I'd have done this or if I'd have done that.
So what drives you now? The fun?
Hey, Danny, are you having fun? I'm having fun. All right. Unbelievable.
Yeah, just the dreaming of making better parts and figuring out how to pay for it and then getting into the finish line.
So I'm gonna be with you at the Chili Bowl in like 2 weeks from now. Tell me about your two drivers.
So Jason McDougall's gonna drive this car. They call him J-Mac. He's a staple at the Chili Bowl. He's run very well there. Then Darren Knight is gonna be in the 3D. And Darren's a young and up and comer.
How do you expect to finish there? 1-2?
Yeah. So to give you an idea, that's a pipe dream, right? You're racing against, Christopher Bell and Larson and Kyle Busch. There's 125 to 150 cars there that are as good as they need to be to win. So the chances of winning are probably not realistic, but do I plan on winning a couple of events? For sure.
I didn't take no for an answer, so we made our own engine. It runs with only water, or only oil cooling, no radiator, no water pump. And they said it would never work, and we proved them wrong today. Other people brought V8s, and I brought a 3-cylinder, so I don't know.